Welcome back, everybody. Let's have a look at some of these charts, and we're just going to look at Matic, and obviously we're going to need to look at Bitcoin first. So I'm just going to take you to the Bitcoin chart. Here we go. So just staring at this, just a very brief stare off. What this looks like to me is downtrend, but if you watch my channel, you'd know that I've been going on about a downtrend for a little while now. So we're in this pitchfork tool. This is how I'm charting it, and this is what I'm expecting from it. So we're looking for it to basically play out within this range. So I mean, we're dancing around at the top at the moment, and there is always the off chance that we do break out of it. And if we break out of it to the up, then I mean, all these moving averages here are going to play an important role. They're all kind of converged into each other at the moment, so I would probably say that it would be very difficult to break above 9,300, but if it did break above there, we could rally. We could rally up to 9,005, maybe, technically, even all the way up to this. 10,000, but I think it's very unlikely. I think the downtrend is set in, and if we have a quick look at some of these other indicators, mainly the MACD, we're again diverging away from each other. So and we're beneath the 0 point. So it's all pretty bearish for this guy at the moment. We're holding on for dear life. You can also argue that we're being rejected from the green 50 exponential moving average, 1, 2, close beneath it, rejected, and looks like what to close beneath it again. So I mean, it's not looking too good for old Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's going to dominate the and dictate the trend. So moving on to Matic then. Matic, so just to let you all know, I'm actually, unfortunately, I'm pretty bearish on Matic, but I'm bearish across the market. There's not really a coin that I could look at right now where I'd be overall bullish on it, given what I've just seen with Bitcoin. And just to have a quick look at this, so this is the deal with it. Okay, we've had this upwards support trend, and this is the most generous I could be with it. Okay, so we're going on wicks, so wicked, and just recently we've closed beneath it. Well, we've not actually closed beneath it. It looks like we're going to close beneath it today. That looks to me like a very bearish signal. We're also in this area here, this support and resistance sort of last stand really before we break down and test areas such as this again, which is the 200 exponential, really important moving average for Matic. Probably find a bounce around there, but the unfortunate thing about this chart is the 4 hour, and most charts have got this now, that we've got ourselves a death cross, as must have happened last night. So that in itself is bearish. The price action on that death cross took us all the way down there, so actually I suppose that's an indication of where we're going to go. And the fact is, the wick went beneath this blue box support resistance area. So I think, to be honest with you, these wicks will be taken out. This one certainly coming down beneath here. We may end up finding this box being a resistance for us. I think we've got quite a fair distance to fall, unfortunately, for Matic, because the truth be told, I'm bearish on the market and bearish on Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't look like it wants to drop quite yet. I mean, when I say drop, I mean dump. There's a lot of in fact, when you look at the stats on it, the longs outweigh the shorts 2 to 1. So there's still quite a lot of pressure to buy, to be honest with you. Every dip is being bought, but that's going to come back to bite everyone, I think, in the end, because all the charts are very much looking the same, and they're all looking like they want a downtrend, and not only a downtrend, there'll be a point of calamity, basically, where they will downtrend to a certain point and then they will dump, and then we'll find those areas right now, we're more or less at the top of the range. You could, I'm not saying do it, I'm not a financial advisor, this isn't financial advice. I've been short for quite a little while now, so, but if I were to open a short, you could argue that you could open a short here, given what this chart is telling us, is that this roughly is the top of our range, give or take, $150, and we've got all this way to go down to here. So we're talking about a 15% move, I think, is what we're looking at there. Yeah, just over 15% move to where I imagine this to bottom out. Now, there'll be bounces along the way, big bounces as well. So you can, maybe it's probably the better opportunity, but a better thing to do if this chart excuse me, if this chart actually means something, if I want to stand by it, I could look at taking profits on these levels, closing my shorts up here, waiting for a bounce to see if we can get up to the top of this range again, and then continue to short it all the way down, maybe even long it occasionally when we find, especially areas like this being a decent opportunity to probably find a decent bounce on that. So long it there, short it again here, and then wait for it to break down to what I think is going to be the first decent opportunity to bounce, and that's 7,700. So again, we'll look at Matic. What have we got to go by really if this area is taken out? We've got the 200 exponential around about 1.7 cent, 1.8 cent roughly thereabouts. Below there's no moving averages of any significance on a daily chart, which means that we really could just find one of those big Matic wicks. Huge Matic drop like what we've seen in the past, and look at these sort of things. I could see that happening again. What I would say is that we'd look at areas of support of where we launched from. So 1.5 cent would be an area of decent support, I would imagine. But really, if we're coming down that far and we're expecting Bitcoin to come down this far, I'm actually looking to maybe pick it up around 1.2 cent, which has always been Matic's favourite area to launch from, between 1 cent and 1.2 cent. But again, all eyes are on Bitcoin on this one. I'm trading with XRP too. And when I say trading, I'm shorting. I'm shorting the weakest assets more than I'm shorting Bitcoin. Bitcoin's getting shorted because it's telling me it wants to be shorted, but really, I'm not going to short Matic because it's too volatile. Plus, we've got all these really good fundamental sides to the coin that have all come out with the staking, and it just. The project looks good. It's just unfortunate that all these things have been released in a crypto downtrend, which could end up being reasonably horrendous when it bottoms out, and that's going to take Matic down with it. Doesn't matter if it's available for staking and all these other epic parts of the project. Doesn't really matter. There's a lot of other coins out there that all have really good fundamentals, and one of the ones that we're talking about specifically is Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, like I say, looks like it wants to come down to between 15 and 25%. So it doesn't really matter where your fundamentals lie in a situation like what I'm saying. So just to recap, the long-term support trend line has been broken, and it looks like we're going to close beneath it, and I think that closure should signify the big move. So if that closes anywhere beneath 1.965, then yeah, that's a sell signal, and I don't need to go back to it, but the 4-hourly death cross looks like it wants to be retesting at least the 200 exponential as a result of that. And again, it's all to do with Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's not going to. I'd be very surprised if it makes that big dump today. But over the next few days, we're going to incrementally move our way down this channel, and then we will find our big dump. The first big dump coming all the way down to around about 8,600. So yeah, if you can imagine that, you imagine how far that is for Bitcoin. That would be it's not much from where we are right now. We call it 6.5%. Matic is probably likely to amplify that move because alts are looking specifically weak at the moment. Even Matic is looking extremely weak. So I imagine that dump will probably cause maybe even a 10% dump for Matic. Anyway, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Anyway, that's just my take on the market. Feel free to disagree with me and prove me wrong. And obviously, the proof will be in the pudding. We'll see where it goes over the next few days to the next week, to maybe basically about a month from now is where I'm expecting everything to bottom out. A month, maybe a little longer, 5 or 6 weeks. But it's very difficult to put a time frame on these sort of things. But the targets are there, and the indicators suggest that it wants to be. That it wants to come down. So that's all I'm saying. I mean, I like Matic. I love it. It's made me loads of profit, and I intend to buy it back. But I wouldn't be buying it here. Definitely not. I'll be buying it at least another 25% down from where we are right now, and maybe even close to 50. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice evening and take it easy.